Today we were supposed to talk about marketing, I think, sales. Okay, so Grant Cardone is a guy who wrote some principles around sales. So this complete like the this entire session, this video session, quick session, uh, we will simply put it in a way where you get an idea about what Grant Cardone used to teach about sales. Okay, Grant Cardone is a billionaire today. He has one of the biggest, if not the biggest, one of the biggest, because obviously BlackRock will always be on top, so we cannot top BlackRock. So still, he is one of the biggest real estate people in USA. Okay. So there are certain principles that he used, and I want my members to know about those principles because you guys will be doing a lot of sales. Okay. So I'll first read it out and then I'll explain it in short. Then again I'll read it out, explain it in short. That is what we are going to do. Okay. So the number one thing that ever, if ever, I have learned from Grant Cardone is during a sales meeting, be seated. Okay. During a sales meeting or during any kind of interview, any kind of thing, be seated. Okay. Anytime you look more agreeable than required or you look more frustrated than required or something, you will always lose the battle. You'll always lose the customer, you'll always lose the room, like whatever it is, you will lose. And it will happen simply because you were too eager or you were too unsure or some of that variation, like on that spectrum. Okay. So yeah, that's the thing. So present from your feet and close from your seat. These are the two lines that he always says. So this is Grant Cardone again, guys. This is not me. This is Grant Cardone. And what he says about this is present from your feet. Like never ever give a presentation sitting down on your seat. Okay, always give a presentation where you are explaining, you are occupying the room, you are talking about things loudly. Okay, you are doing a lot of things like the salesy things, but do it in a way which is professional and do it from your feet. Okay, don't sit and discuss because sitting is about composure. Okay, so if you're having a composure while sitting, if you're discussing about your product, you don't seem excited. If you are not excited about your product, why will somebody else be excited about your product? So that is why it is always said present from your feet, on your feet, and close from your seat. So when you are, see, these are the two modes that he's talking about. Grant Cardone talks about two modes. One is the foot mode, which is basically when you're on your feet, you're discussing things with people. You're presenting, basically present from your feet is you're presenting because you're excited about your product. Okay, so that is presenting from your feet. And closing from your seat. So from the seat, it shows stability, calmness, surety. So whatever you just spoke about, if you are sure about it, then you'll don't have to get up from your seat. So once you sit down after the presentation, just close the deal from your seat. That is the first maxim that he has. Grant Cardone, the great salesperson of the 21st century. Okay, the first maxim is always close from your seat, but present on your feet. Okay, so this is one. Second is always present your proposal in writing. Okay, never ever have a verbal proposal. Never ever give anybody a verbal proposal, whether it's even if it it's a love proposal. Don't give it in verbal. Give it in writing. Always, because the person always wants to make a decision. They want to go back to the way you said it, the way you wrote it down. Maybe that's better, because people need time to decide. Especially bigger the thing, the bigger the decision, the more time they will need to decide. So they will want something to refer back to. That is why you need always have all proposals written down. If you don't have a written proposal, you have nothing, my friend. So always write down your proposals, especially if it's a big decision, because they want to get back to it. They will look at the tone, how you wrote it, what you wrote, why you wrote, what are you proposing. All those things they will look at, and then they will decide whether they want to go ahead with the deal or not. Okay, so whenever you're proposing something, obviously a proposal is for a deal, whether it's life or business. So always give a written proposal. Grant Cardone is a big believer of written proposals. If you cannot write it down, first of all, you're not clear in your head, so the thing will never come out properly. So first benefit of writing down a proposal is that you will get to know what exactly you want to present to some person. The second benefit of writing down the proposal is it is for their memory also. Okay, so for example, if you give me 5 points and I forget 3 points, I just remember 2 points, I'll have to call you back, and it's embarrassing to call you back and ask you what was the point of the deal. Okay, so do not give them a position where they will feel embarrassed. Do not put them in an embarrassment, like just do not do that. simply give them things that they can recall or they can read. Okay, so message is fine, but official proposal is always going to be good, because they will know exactly what they're getting into and what their expectation is. That is when you swoop in, you take the whole thing. So always present proposal in writing. Never ever do your proposals verbally. Okay, first no verbally, secondly no unofficially, no WhatsApp, no nothing. Please don't do those things. And if you have to do that, it should be like a pre-proposal and a proposal. So the main proposal always has to be in writing officially on the mail, wherever you want, but it has to be official. Okay. Now the third point is always clearly communicate your proposal. Okay, so yeah, I can write a great proposal. Okay, but there are points in the proposal which I need explaining, or maybe you need explaining. So, and when I explain it to you, I also understand those points again. So that is why always explain your proposal in great detail. Please always explain your proposals in great detail and clearly, because it is very highly likely. See, if somebody is paying you money, it is in their interest to misunderstand you. Remember this. Okay, just remember this. Any kind of a proposal, anyone, if a person is losing money or time, they will want to misunderstand it, misinterpret it. So today, if they are saying yes, like many unsure people, they say yes today, but they want a space, a gap where they can come back and say no tomorrow. That is where the misinterpretation, misrepresentation, all those misses come in. Okay, so always explain your proposal in great detail. Okay, write it down in detail and then go and explain it in great detail, and then keep getting a confirmation. Do you understand this? Do we agree on this? Do you have a complete understanding of what I'm saying? Do you like keep on reaffirming whether they understood the proposal or not, and have a written. Best if you can have a verbal record, like a recorded meeting, but if you cannot, then always have a written record that yes, they have understood the proposal and that they have gotten back to you saying that you understand all the points in the proposal. So tomorrow if there's a misunderstanding, you can point back to that documentation and tell them this is what we discussed, and back then you had no issues, now why do you have an issue? Okay, so you have it in writing. That is why Grant Cardone says always explain in great detail, because they might not really be completely open. Okay. Okay, the fourth detail is maintain eye contact wherever. This is basic, I don't need to go into detail about this, but it's a predatory instinct. Okay, any kind of a meeting, any kind of a discussion, any kind of whatever meetings you have, it is always a two-way discussion. So predators, we usually have the eyes on the front. Okay, that is why we are on the predatory side. So on the front, wherever you are, if you're looking at a person, you should always face them and you should look them in the eyes, because that will always generate a predatory response. Okay, if you start looking here and there, it means you're not a predator, it means you're a prey, you're looking here and there for running away. Do not do that. That's the biggest mistake in a meeting. Okay, the moment you do that, you expose your weaknesses, and the moment you expose your weakness, the other person will swoop in and take the deal. Okay, do not ever lose your eye contact during a meeting, during a deal, because you want to show them you're capable, you want to show them you're a predator, you're on the same level. You want eye contact. Eye contact is not a decency. Okay, if you stare too hard, a person might actually get scared of you. So eye contact is not really decency, it's not about manners. Eye contact is more about showing that you're on the same level and they should take you seriously. Okay, and I just made a video about taking people seriously, so you can go and check that out. Sajjad, hello brother. Hello Fajr. How are you? अब हंस दे यार. Sajjad, welcome back. Fajr, welcome back. Okay, yeah. So let's fatafat first cover this, okay? Okay, yeah. So always maintaining eye contact is about that. Being on the same level, on the same playing field. It's telling that person non-verbally that you are to be taken seriously. The moment you stop taking, like, you don't have eye contact and you listen here and there and here, the person gets to know that you want to run away from the meeting, you are doing this forcibly, you are not in the mood to do this, you are not completely prepared for this. You right now, I'm not prepared for this, my eyes are darting all over the place looking for an answer. Okay, so that is what you get to know non-verbally. That is why I also lose most of my custom, like the people who come for the custom works, because eye contact. Do not lose eye contact. All right, point number 5, we also discussed this recently. Always have a pen for signing. Always have a pen. So I just mentioned this in one of other videos. If you want to be serious, you want to be taken seriously, always carry a pen with you. Always carry a pen with you, because lawyers and doctors, they have pen. Okay, they are competent person, they are pen. They are not pen, they have pens, and they are taken seriously. Okay, they have serious skills. They like life and death situations they are dealing with. That is why anyone with a pen is taken up as a serious person. For example, anyone with a stethoscope will be looked at as a doctor. Even if you're not a doctor, if you're wearing a stethoscope, it's called the mere exposure effect. You will be looked at as a doctor. I Indian, your voice is cute. Okay. It's been long time. Yes, Fajar, been very long time. Sazzad, love you, man. Love you too. Thank you for coming. Okay, back. So always have a pen for signing. Okay, this is the number one rule that you have to have. You have always have a pen for signing. That also shows the other person that you are ready to take down their signature, to take down the deal. And I can't tell you how great Grant Cardone was at this and is at this. Like, he will crack deals on the spot within 15 minutes. He will sell you something. Okay, that is how good he is. And till date, he's become so big, but till date, he will carry a pen. This is one of his maxims. I am not making this up. This is in his book. Okay. Always carry a pen for two things. First, if you get a deal, you sign it immediately on the spot. Second, the other person also looks at you and by mere exposure effect gives you the same seriousness that they will give to a lawyer or a doctor because you're carrying a pen and you're ready for action. Okay. Point number 6, use humor to relieve pressure, but do not use too much humor because then that might relieve too much pressure and the tension that you build up during the sales might go away. So you don't want too much humor, but yes, if there is ever a tense moment, please use humor to relieve the pressure. Okay, relieve the tension. Humor is a great icebreaker. Okay, point number 7, always ask one more time. Hey, hi. Okay, point number 7. Uh, Welcome to the live show. Always ask one more time. So what happens is every person, they are always calculating whether they should take a decision or not take a decision, yes or no, true or false. Always there is a binary option. But the seriousness or the pressure of taking a decision is always higher when it is against them. So if they're paying some money, if they're going to spend some time, if they're going to lose something, if there is any kind of a taking away from them, that will always be a pressurized decision. So they might say no. Like if they're buying a car, first of all they'll get in the showroom, they will take a test drive and then they'll say no because they don't want to commit immediately. That is where the salesperson comes in. This person knows that they want to buy it, they want to go ahead with the deal, but they're not going away because they don't know yet. Okay, don't know yet is different from don't know at all. So don't know yet is something that you can push into. So always ask one more time. That is what Grant Cardone says. Okay, so always ask one more time, whether you like it or not. Just go ahead, ask one more time. They might be on the brink of making that decision, you never know. So always ask one more time is what Grant would say. Okay. Okay, point number 8 is whenever you're closing a deal, never repeat the same point over and over again. Okay, never. So, for example, if you're selling me a car which has a great two-wheel drive or something, four-wheel drive, do not keep telling me why the four-wheel drive is good for me, because then that becomes repetitive and that is what we'll call salesy. Okay, for example, if you must have had phone calls where people call you up and then they're like, you should take this or you should buy this, and when you don't buy this, they will start hounding you. Okay, you don't want the hounding people. Why do they hound you with the same thing? Because they have only one clause in their arsenal. There's only one point that they can sell you on, and then they start questioning you. Okay, in India especially, people are so stupid that they will start questioning you. Okay, they are not wrong. Whatever you are doing, you are wrong. You are not buying this, you are wrong. Why you are wrong? Because they only have one way to sell it. So what Grant says is at least have 5 to 6 different sales clauses. Okay. For example, first sell on the feature. If it's not selling on the feature, sell on the looks. Not selling on the looks, sell on the utility. Not selling on the utility, on the dream. Ask the person for, that's called probing. Ask the person for more information. How do you get more information about this particular person? And then sell them what they really need. That is what you will have to use your brain for. Okay. Do not push any decision on the buyer. That is what Grant would say. Do not push anything on the buyer. You should have 3 to 4 different reasons for them to close. Okay. And that is a much more healthier way of doing things. So always have 3 to 4 clauses ready. Okay. Now, point number 9. Always stay with the buyer and reduce the number of times you leave the buyer alone. Now, this is a big one also. Always stay with the buyer basically means you should be with them present as a physical presence while they're making the decision till they make the decision. Okay, this is very straight upfront, but usually when we people are left alone, we tend to make the worst possible decisions because we think we know what is good for us. Okay, so Grant Cardone says, do not leave people alone because they tend to make the worst possible decisions. Okay, so if you're convincing someone about something, do not leave them alone during the sales call, after the sales call. Do not leave them alone till the sales is over. That's why we have the whole system of follow up. Okay, you have to follow with people, you have to keep hounding people. Hounding is a bad word because absolutely you don't want to hound people, but yes, you have to keep getting back to people. And that is where never leaving the buyer alone is very important. It will also make your prospect much better. Okay, now the 10th point, the holy grail. Always treat the prospect like a buyer. Okay, always treat the prospect like a buyer because you never know who might confirm, who might convert. And a prospect is here because they need that product. Whatever you're selling, okay, they want that product. They really need it. They will not walk into a store where they don't need something. Okay, so always treat them like a buyer, not a prospect. Okay, give them the respect that a buyer takes. Give them the respect even if they spend 2 hours with you and don't buy anything, it's fine, but treat them like a serious buyer. Okay, treat them like a serious buyer. That will first of all make up your image in their mind that you are a trustworthy person. Second of all, even if they're not in the mood of buying, that is where all this mumbo jumbo comes up. Might have heard about manifestation, fake it till you make it. It also applies to other people. Understand this. If you treat somebody like a buyer, they will genuinely become a buyer. That is what Grant Cardone has closed the most massive and ridiculous deals simply because of this person, like this principle. He will treat the person like they have already purchased it. He will not talk about the property. He'll talk about the taxes that they have to pay after they get the property. So it's a very weird thing. The moment you start framing it as a customer, they stop being a prospect, they stop being interested, and they start thinking about how do I afford this. That is a very good point you should remember. Point number 12. Okay, wait, point number 11. Okay, point number 11. Always know you can come to an agreement. Okay. This is a serious one. If you understand this, you understand sales. Okay. Even if you are going to disagree with someone, you have to disagree in a way where it feels like an agreement. Okay. So, for example, if I know that you're not going to buy something, I will discuss with you why you're not buying that and then come to an agreement with you that we are not here to buy this. This is not good for you. So, even a disagreement has to be an agreement. Remember that all the time. Remember that one thing. Okay, a disagreement should look like an agreement, and then you can do anything. Okay. Okay. Now this is the cuckoo land. Okay, the point number 11 was also cuckoo land, where you turn a disagreement also into an agreement. You agree to disagree, kind of a thing. But in sales, it is very different because then in sales, what you're trying to do is be really approachable. Okay, so if the person knows they can approach you without you being judgmental and all, they will always agree with you later on. The second part is you have to be positive. Like, you have to be so bloody positive. Even if you're getting a negative response, even if the person is trying to screw with your mood, they will do n number of things. Especially in USA, this happens. I'll tell you why. In USA, you can actually sue people for misbehavior. You can sue companies for misbehavior or misdemeanor, or just for the sake of it. Okay, so for them it is very important that they don't get sued. That is why they always have a positive outlook. Like, every salesperson over there will have a positive outlook, and for two reasons basically. One is that you need to have a positive outlook whether the sale happens or not. It's just a transaction. So sales, successfully doing a sale, is about statistics, not doing two sales and expecting those two to become successful. You go for 100, 200, 300 deals, and out of that 300, expect 5 or 10 to actually work out. Okay, that is one. So if you lose your patience in the first 100, maybe your 3 deals are in the last 100. That is where you have to reach before running out of steam, and that is what this helps you do. Okay, that is point number 1. Second is, it also makes you look very approachable. Very approachable. For example, if a person, like, if I give my 100% to a person, that person will automatically feel that I am more approachable, I am more likable, and that person will have a positive ring to, my name. So they will come in the store asking for me, right? They came 3 times, did not buy anything. Fourth time they come back, they will ask for me. That is how you generate a positive feedback loop with your customers. Okay, so always be positive. ABP news. Always be positive. That is something that matters. Hi Humed, welcome back. Okay, point number 13, always smile no matter the outcome, response, objection, or communication. Okay, this is like the biggest. Like, I have a friend, okay, here, he also has a perfume store and he always smiles. No matter what happens, he will always keep smiling. So, that is something that you have to keep in mind. Grant Cardone always smiles, even if in the like weirdest possible moods, he will smile. Okay, so that is Grant Cardone for you, and this is his principle number 13. Okay, always smile no matter the outcome, response, objection, or communication. Cool. I'll try. Okay. Now, point number 14. Earlier we spoke about how you treat the prospect like a buyer, but then here we go into behavior. Okay. Point number 14 is trust the buyer and treat the buyer as if they can. Okay. Do not even produce the environment or the thought process that they feel that they cannot. Okay, if the sale has to happen, they have to have a frame of mind where they feel that they are getting into a good deal or they are actually going to make this deal happen, right? Whether it's selling perfumes or whether cars or whatever, doesn't matter, but they have to have that frame of mind. So always treat the buyer like they can. This is like a mantra. You should keep this in your head. So whenever somebody walks in, I don't treat them like they cannot. Okay, even if I know they cannot. Okay, sometimes people like, some people will come, the lower economic zone people will come and they will want a perfume for 100 rupees, like a whole 100 ml bottle for 100 rupees. I do not treat them with disrespect because I know one day they can. Okay, today maybe not. I tell them, I'm sorry, this is not a price point I can serve, but I treat them like tomorrow they can. And you know what, I've had two cases. Okay, two cases. People actually accumulating enough money to get a 100 ml bottle. So this I stand by. This I can get behind. If you treat people like they can, they will. Trust me on that. Bro, tell me which one to choose from your store. I need something which is woody, strong and smoky. Okay. Woody, strong and smoky. We will get to that for sure. We will get to that. Give me like 6 more minutes. We have 6 more points. We'll go through them fatafat and then we'll come back to this. Okay. So yes, point number 14. Always treat the buyer like they can. Never ever make the buyer feel that they cannot. Okay. Okay, now here is the beauty. Point number 15. When you are doing a sale, there will come a time where the buyer will give you an offer. Okay, you know what? You are asking 1500, I'll pay you 1200. Take it or leave it. At that time, acknowledge the offer. Say thank you for taking the time and making this offer. After that, whatever you say, it is up to you. Okay, unfortunately, we do not sell at that price point. Unfortunately, I have given you the maximum discount. Unfortunately, you can start whatever after that. But first, acknowledge that they made an attempt or an offer. Okay, because it takes a lot to negotiate. Okay, in general sense also it takes a lot to negotiate. So if a person is actively taking time and negotiating with you, they are engaging with your brand and they're trying to get an offer out of you, totally fine. Okay, they are totally having the right. Okay, but it is well within your rights to compliment that. Okay, if they take the time to ask for a discount, take the time to say thank you for the offer. Okay, even asking for a discount is an offer. Point number 16. Always agree with the buyer. Okay, the buyer is always right. Somehow. Okay. So Grant Cardone is very specific here. He says, this is one of those absolute truths where negotiating that if violated will crush you. Okay. Always agree with your prospect no matter what. So for example, if I say oud, okay, Fajr just wants oud, okay. I come and say, okay, I feel Dainul oud is very oody and smoky. Fajr says he doesn't feel like it is smoky, okay. What do I do? Should I fight my position or should I let it go? Absolutely let it go. You know why? Because winning this battle does not prove that I am right or Fajr is right. It simply means that we differ in opinion. Okay, that is all. So never ever try to win every single battle. Always remember that the customer is right. The customer is king, customer is God, whatever, but customer is right. Okay? Always agree with them. Whatever they say, just agree with them, because in the long run, you don't want the relationship to break because of your personal opinion. Okay? All right. Point number 17, always look for a solution. So, for example, if somebody tells you, I cannot afford this perfume, for example, 1500, 1600, too high for me. You ask for a solution or you provide a solution. You do not leave it hanging. You ask or provide a solution. Is there credit card option available? Can we do it in EMIs? Do you want to do it? So provide some sort of solution. Whether or not they take it is up to them, but your job as the person behind the counter is always look for a solution. Okay. Now, point number 18, again, the hellhounders, the hellhounds that we talk about in sales. In this one, care so much that you refuse to not close. Okay. If I know a perfume is good for somebody, I will close it. If I know they will be complimented, I will close it. I will find a way to do it. Okay. Sales, see, if you leave the trashy sales, for genuine sales, you're always selling something that the customer wants first. Second, if your product genuinely performs, you have zero problem giving that same benefit off to the customer. Okay. So consider these 2 points, and if a perfume performs, I will want to sell it to a customer, not because it will make me profit, it will give them compliments. Okay. That's the whole point of selling a perfume. People getting compliments. Me, no matter how much I know about perfumes, it does not matter. If a person does not wear my perfume and get a compliment, if they're wearing my perfume getting compliment, that is all I need as the seller of the product. That should be my goal. Okay, as a salesperson, that should be my goal, that I am getting the person the value that they are looking for. So refuse to close. If you know that your material has matter, refuse to close. Okay, refuse to not close, sorry. Okay. Point number 19 is use the full arsenal, right from the rapport building, eye contact, not saying no, all those things. And point number 20 is know that you have not provided a service till your first close. This is point number 20 by Grant Cardone. Okay, and this concludes the book. So yeah, if you are providing something genuinely and you want to sell, you want to learn how to sell, these are the 20 points that you can use. These are too broad. Okay, these are ranging right from car sales up to real estate sales, up to maybe condos, and maybe even flights, flight sales, going to the moon. Someday people will say, all those are generic sales. If you specifically want to start selling in perfume industry, know that you have to understand what the customer needs first. Okay. Now, talking on that, let's come back. Fajr, welcome back. Tell me which one to choose from your store. I need something which is woody, strong and smoky. So strong and smoky in general. Okay. You want something which has wood. We have cedar wood, super cedar. It is not woody, it is woody. Okay. Woody and woody, we have smoky wood. Smoky wood is a nice addition that you can make to your collection. Smoky wood also lasts a very long time. It is just enough smoky that you like it, but not very woody. It is woody, but not very woody. On the other hand, we have Dehnal oud. So Dehnal oud is very woody, but not really smoky. It is more pepperish. Okay. So, and usually ouds will have some sort of a spice with it, because just wood with wood does not gel that clearly. Like if you add rose to jasmine, You will not have a distinct note. You will have rose and jasmine mixed into a new concoction, or one of them will be heavier. If the rose is heavier, it will lean more towards like a Middle Eastern note. If the jasmine is heavier, it will seem more like a Noratna tail. So you don't want wood with wood, okay? Smoky wood and normal wood are two different kinds of woods. So we will go for smoky wood. So we can go for smoky oud. And generally, oud will have some sort of a spice to it. So we will go with Dehnalud. Okay, so Dehnalud and Smoky Oud. These are two selections I can suggest for you at this point. Rest, I think Vanilla Sex by Tom Ford is also something you can try. Super Cedar is also a cedar based woody fragrance that you can try. We also have Ruh Al Oud, which is quite smoky, like it's dark, it's smoky, and it is on the lines of, nah, it is a separate beast altogether. So you can have Ruh Al Oud, you can have Super Cedar, you can have Dehnalud, you can have Smoky Oud. These four things, or a combination of these four things. So there, Fajr, I answered your question. Thank you for being patient and leaving the chat. Any which ways, guys, this was a great session. It was a 32-minute long session. I loved it. Always love it when you guys come in and start asking questions. Welcome back, Umaid. Welcome back, Fajr. Sazad, welcome back. Womp Womp, thank you. And Fajr, welcome back. All right. So, yes, I gave you my top suggestions. Now, what you can do is you can directly have a look. Okay. Yeah, you can directly check it out. Okay. Now, here we have the collection. Let's focus in on this. Just a second. Yeah. Okay. Everything is inverted. No point. Any which ways.